Hey, this is Mr. Cool, here with another movie review for you. So last night, I went to see Martin Scorsese's latest flick, Shutter Island, a film starring Leo DiCaprio and based on the 2003 Dennis Lehane novel of the same name. Now, after my roommate told me what he thought, I wasn't sure if this film was worth blowing $7.50 on. But I'll come right out and say it. It is worth it. Scorsese is one of my all-time favorites, and he's once again given us a film that is filled to the brim with solid entertainment and solid performances. The story goes like this. The year is 1954. Two U.S. Marshals, Edward Teddy Daniels, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and Chuck Allee, I think you say his name? He's played by Mark Ruffalo. Well, they're two marshals, and they're investigating the disappearance of a patient from a hospital for the criminally insane on an island in Massachusetts, aka Shutter Island. They run into trouble when they're deceived by the hospital's chief psychiatrist and administrator, Dr. John Crawley, played by Ben Kingsley. A hurricane hits and they uncover a series of sinister human experiments. The two must expose what is going on while Edwards is on a personal vendetta to find someone very important. Now, I can't tell you who. You gotta go see it in order to find out. Now, I'll just go ahead and get all the bad things out of the way because there aren't very many of them. Well, for starters, the opening scene on the boat is probably some of the worst cutting I have ever seen. It doesn't flow well, and it's very choppy. And the exposition sucks. But if you can get through that first bit, smooth sailing from the rest of the movie on. Also, the plot of the script, as you will find, is a plot that, well, it can be found in other flicks, which is somewhat disappointing considering this is a Martin Scorsese film. However, unlike Avatar and Transformers, you won't realize it until the last few minutes of the movie. 5 minutes disappointed is much better than an hour and a half wasted. Now, as I said, there are only a few things about the film that don't quite measure up. But for all the things that don't measure up, there are plenty of things that do measure up. The actors and actresses follow through beautifully. Ben Kingsley's voice and his face leave such an impact on the audience. He plays a great villain, suave, calm and collected, and yet tyrannical and shady. I loved watching his performance. Now, Leonardo DiCaprio gets 2 thumbs up from me. He's hard to get into at first, but as the movie progresses, his performance gradually gets better. His crying scenes are a little weak at times, and you will note that he switches in and out of a Boston accent occasionally, but all things considered, I think it was a great role for him. Very well casted. The visuals really hit me in the gut. They're creative, they're artsy, especially the dream sequences. Granted, there are a few bad green screen shots, but the vision and execution of the film is quite nice and personal, and it really grabs hold of your emotions and makes you root for the characters even more. There is a twist, yes, and while some people complain that it's confusing and full of holes, I strongly disagree. There were very few plot holes, and the story moved and clicked beautifully with the exception of the first 5 minutes. Now, there are some scenes where you really have to pay attention to understand who a certain person is or why a certain thing is happening. And the end, I will admit, happens just a little too fast, but the beauty of it is that they at least had the courtesy to explain it. They didn't just leave us out in the middle of nowhere, and for that I was very grateful. Bottom line, this was a very good movie. Stellar acting, solid writing, and visuals make this film a really nice piece of artwork. While not entirely original, it does hold up very well on its own. The twist is smart, and it holds on to you until the credits start rolling. A solid flick that is definitely worth checking out. Therefore, I'm giving this movie 8 stars out of 10. I'm Mr. Cool with movie reviews just for you. Goodbye.